here we go. Laird of Fintry. Wow. I'm confused.
Well, let's start with the story of this bottle.
No, wait. What's that say?
It's Canadian.
Where's the bag? I don't.
Well, that's just for Canadian whiskeys.
You know, every Canadian whiskey I've ever had comes in a purple bag, right?
But that's Crown Royal. There's other Canadian whiskeys. You know that, right? Canadian Club, Seagram's. I mean, they're not quite as fancy, but they're delicious. They're all delicious.
All right.
But hold on, you have to tell a story about this bottle.
All right, hold on.
This is the only guy, my friends. This is the only guy who's ever complained about winning the lotto.
Laird of Fintry. I saw a review on Laird of Fintry like a year and a half ago, and I've
never heard of it.
Yeah, and so Canada keeps all their good whiskey from themselves. That's why every bottle of Canadian whiskey you've ever had comes in a either a purple bag or mixed with 7-Up. Okay. Laird of Fintry is a single malt whiskey from Canada, and I heard about them. They have a very low production, and I applied for the lottery, and then 2 weeks ago I won the lottery, which was the best lottery I ever won, mainly because you win, and now here's $200 later, right?
Well, and he had to pay them $200.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's kind of like an opposite lottery.
Yeah, right.
Maybe wait, are we swearing on this?
Yeah, right.
Swear? Okay.
Yeah,
but
Jim, if you're capable of bleeping out our curses, then bleep out the curses. All right, so Laird of Fintry, single malt whiskey, cask strength, handcrafted in British Columbia. We also have the Laird of Fintry single malt whiskey rum barrel, and we'll be reviewing that next. Patrick, why don't you go ahead and read off their notes? Well, this came with the bottles.
Yeah, I took a quick peek at this, and really the quick thing is that they are locally grown. I guess in Canada. I don't know how you pronounce that. Okanagan. I don't know.
Okay. Okanagan.
They're also first aged in white oak casks, and then they're finished in local fortified Foch barrels. I had to look that up. And it's going to give it a smooth, elegant mouthfeel. And we'll see if there's some forest notes, toasted oak, maybe some delicate tones of vanilla, plum, raisin, caramel, and spice. So kind of like a lot of whiskeys. So it tastes like a lot of whiskeys, but we'll see how it tastes.
So, Laird of Fintry won the Spirit Award, World Spirit Award 2020. They won gold and I believe double gold as well in different times. So this is the 2020 release. If you were lucky enough to win the lottery, like me,
like this guy who pays $200 to win the lottery.
Yeah. Then you've got an option for the cask strength and the rum barrel. They have a regular single malt. This is their cask strength. Whenever given the option between the regular and the single malt, or the regular and cask strength.
More booze, less money. Yeah. That's cask strength for you. Okay.
The cask strength is always cost more. They always cost more.
Sometimes if you can figure out how to work the system, it seems like they're making money off this racket of selling booze to people like us.
Yeah. So Laird of Fintry, like Patrick was saying there, they practice local terroir. Basically, that means that everything that they produce comes locally. So all the barley, malt, and everything comes from the local area.
It said that they bought the first barrels are American white oak. So
yeah. I mean, so it is a single malt.
America tastes like America.
Yeah. So let me clarify. Local terroir means that everything that goes into the barrel comes from the local area. Now, just like Scotland or anywhere else, they're going to source their barrel because this is a single malt. This is not a bourbon or anything else. A single malt and is one distillery, 100% barley, and typically means that they are made with old used barrels. So the barrels are always going to come from someplace else. Okay, so this is on a used barrel. I believe it's first fill used barrels. And let's get
let's talk more drink.
Yeah, let's take a look at the nose on this.
It smells like a delicious.
You know what this reminds me of? This reminds me a little bit of like an American single malt. You still get a little bit of that banana notes. And
are you thinking Balcones?
Yeah, Balcones has a bit of
Balcones?
Yeah, has a bit of
I
that.
can see that a little bit. That does. I do catch that.
You get a little bit of the banana. Let's see what they say over here.
Well, they have like a lot of the traditional notes on what they were saying. It's like vanilla, spicy, nutty, oaky. Yeah. Like, come on, that's as general as you can get.
Their job is to
make sure everyone will like it.
Yeah, and to get everyone to try and try the bottles, right?
But why don't we try them?
I mean,
we'll tell cow. It's kind of like being a vegan, but with whiskey.
Yeah, fair enough. Cult of Whisky. I definitely get that vanilla.
Well, let's just try it. Let's stop talking.
Yeah. A little bit of plum.
That is wonderful.
It's almost like a Space Side. It definitely does not taste like the the
like a delicious glass of Crown Royal.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't taste like the stuff you've been drinking from Canada before. It definitely has a punch to it. You can definitely tell it's cask strength. It's
very flavorful. It is a little sweeter, so I will say that flavor of Canada. So I'll give it that. It doesn't taste like maple syrup.
If you would have told me this came from Space Side, I would believe
it tastes like a good Scotch.
Yeah. One of the things that Laird of Fintry has is they have the tallest pot stills in North America. So tall pot stills is definitely a very Scottish and Irish thing. When you have those big whooping stills, it's gonna the vapors are gonna go up the pipes and then start to cool as they get down. They're gonna recycle more often when you get something that large.
When this little series takes off, we'll have a cool infographic right here.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we know how to do that yet.
Yeah,
so.
fair enough. Get on that, Jin.
Well, we have to say cheers to our buddy Jin. He's
our Jin.
tech guy.
Yeah, Jin, why don't you come in here and grab Jin is the guy that's been doing all the video editing, so we pay him in whiskey, essentially. Which is actually...
Good deal.
Actually, I think with the amount of money I spent on whiskey, it's actually more expensive than if I would have just paid somebody.
When we're drinking with friends, as we always say, it's all good.
Yeah. So right now, all I'm doing is I'm spraying it along the glass just to get it to, cover as much of the area of glass as possible. And
I don't think we've talked about the taste that we're finding. We talked about the smell.
Yeah.
Talked about all the other background stuff, but it's like I really do taste that spicy.
Well, you're definitely getting that alcohol burn that you would expect off of cask strength. You're definitely getting that heavy vanilla notes. You're definitely that barrel impact is there. You're definitely tasting an American used oak. And that barrel impact is there. I wonder what kind of barrels they're using. I don't actually know.
They said Bosch, and that's a wine barrel. Of some
that's
kind.
That's a wine barrel.
It's a French term, so that's as much as I know about it. And
well, they're aging both French and American oak.
Yeah, so they first do the American oak, then they finish it in the.
Yeah, that's probably where you get those plums notes and that like sweet. Those sweet plum notes and berry notes.
Interesting. I don't know how they age Crown Royal because it's like that. It doesn't taste like Crown Royal. I'm just talking about that sweetness.
Crown Royal.
That Canadian.
We'll do a whole episode on Crown Royal. Crown Royal is basically a mix of like vodka, nondescript aged spirit and grain. And Canada's got a weird, funky thing where they call everything rye, and we'll do a whole episode on Canada probably.
big country.
Yeah, big
lot of
country.
people
Lot
drink there.
of things
Hopefully
going on
some
in
of you
Canada.
drink from there, so
So, Laird of Fintry, they originally were doing gin. They were doing like fruit wines, like the plum wines and stuff like that. And then they had a big distillery, and they were doing all kinds of other stuff. And sorry, not Laird of Fintry, but their brand, Okanaganspirits Craft Distillery. So Laird of Fintry is actually a person, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But they were doing, basically a bunch of different types of alcohols and wines and stuff like that. And then they eventually did a whiskey, and their whiskey just won a bunch of awards, and people loved them. And so you couldn't, they would sell out the moment they started producing it. So they do a lottery every year. Again, I applied for the lottery. We won it. Eventually, in I think November of this year, you're gonna get you're gonna get the ability to on the open market to buy it if it's available. But there were like 20,000 people this year that applied for the lottery. So who knows if you'll be able to taste it.
It's delicious. You should taste it. You should share it with a friend like this guy. I'll say this is a fun, flavorful whiskey.
Yeah.
A little Speyside.
I'm gonna try it.
I think.
I'm gonna try it on ice.
Can you give me that other one?
Yeah. I like to just
Thanks, sir.
try it on ice for a second. Whenever I'm in a bar or just drinking with friends, I typically are using just a classic double old-fashioned glass and a single ice cube.
Now, the trick that I really appreciate that I learned from Al was leave a little outside the glass, in case you didn't really like the concoction, or to go back and retaste it. You can actually see a lot of different flavors, and you can get a little more complexity, because the different levels is that, it's like I personally really enjoy a lot of my whiskeys and scotches on ice, or just all beverages, because I like cold drinks. But it's like sometimes it does beat the flavor up so much that you can't taste it. So it's nice to be able to go back and really evaluate and say, all right, this is how I enjoy it the most. Now, this is cast strength, so like I think this like nice cooled watered down is gonna be a little bit more enjoyable, but it was great before. But that's the rough thing about delicious scotch. It's perfect the way it is, or I can make it better.
Yeah, what I will say is that the ice just completely mellowed it out, and it wasn't very good on ice. I'll try just a few dabs of water and see if that opens up at all. Now, again, they sell it a single malt. I don't know what the percentage is the regular single malt sells for, but it is.
How much did you pick this bottle up for?
It's $105 if you win the lottery. So, and again, you're not going to.
And ship though.
Yeah, and ship. So, with the two bottles that I picked up, with shipping, these two bottles came out to $205. They were, I waited a year and a half. Well, I didn't so much wait as I applied for a lottery and then forgot about it.
Got lucky.
Yeah, and I completely forgot about it, and then I went
got
on.
lucky.
Yeah.
I'll keep saying that. I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, Canadian whiskey, single malt. I love a good single malt. I love a good cast strength, and
I love it more when my buddy bought it. So it's fantastic. I think that's some basic notes.
Yeah.
We'd like to share with our friends.
What shelf do you think this belongs on?
Oof. It is tricky.
Yeah.
Because it is so rare.
Yeah.
It is very special.
I would definitely, I wouldn't I wouldn't say that this doesn't belong on the top shelf. $105. You definitely get.
It is a little pricey, but it is a little rare, and it does have a great story.
Yeah.
And there is a lot of back end for it.
Yeah, for me, a good story and will go a long way to getting your way to up an additional shelf or two.
Especially if you can't get it. I mean, like I just You have that. I don't know if anyone's seen it back there. You have that Nikkei golf ball.
Yeah.
A very, very rare bottle.
Yeah.
I think it's probably from the 1980s.
Yeah, that's an old
that.
bottle.
And that is always something that catches your eye.
Yeah.
Well, I think we might have just got cut off. This is our first few videos, and our battery died. But we're gonna figure this out. We were talking.
Personally, I blame Jin. I've been feeding him whiskey, and it's clearly his fault. He was not paying attention to what was happening. Anyways, Laird of Fintry is a real person. Scottish heritage. Bought some labels, and it's an okay story. More importantly, I think, is what they're doing in their area. I think they're the oldest distillery in the area. They've got the tallest pot stills, and they're really doing something for their own community, and I like that. I like anybody in North America doing a single malt. Just like Japanese whiskey is, basically, Scotch, and I'm always looking for an American, or North American whiskey.
Just the next new real whiskey. Yeah. Like Scotch has a very unique flavor profile, and it's not simple. It's very, very complicated, and when you do it with a single malt, you're saying, I have the huevos or the ovaries to do something completely special, and that takes a lot of work, a lot of care, a lot of love, and it's like I appreciate the Canadians for making this.
I just think that, like with bourbon or anything else, everything's just so limited. When you take something and you start limiting what you can do with it, everything starts to taste the same.
It has to be in this county, it has to be in this area, it has to be
everything starts to taste the same.
One type of oak, and it has to be made upside down and aged a minimum of these many years. It should be. It is an art form. It is an expression, and there's a lot of different expressions. Yeah. And I don't want to belittle anything because it's like I love pretty much every spirit. So you can also include wine and beer because those are also some type of spirit, or they lift my spirits. So all these things are very important. It's like maybe I just drink a lot, but I like drinking with everybody. So
this is lot 7, and the 2020 bottle, like I said. For anybody that cares about those sort of things, really, it's just a good whiskey. It's one of the best Canadian whiskeys I've ever had. I haven't had a lot, and
before my 40th birthday, we're gonna get a Canadian Club 40 year. So
all right, fair enough.
I want one time to drink something.
Not a lot available in the States, but
it's
not,
a lot of times
it's not a Whistle Pig, right? It is definitely its own beast.
Whistle Pig's Canadian?
Yeah, they outsourced to Canada.
I didn't know.
Yeah. Cheers to that.
Cheers. Hey, from the Cult of Whisky.
Yeah. All hail cow.
All hail the cow.